my goodness, what an adventure trying to figure out how to
Yeah,
find the even
no,
find
she
the
never ever
invitation.
start this without you, Sharon.
Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful it finally worked. Thank you for being persistent.
Of course, I'm the one that's grateful for have these beautiful souls today for talking about 25 tools for transformation. And before we start this interview, I want to give my own testimony because you girls, you gave me a transformation in my life deeply. Since I come and joined the Wellness Universe Corporation, my life changed so much. And we know that the corporation is made by huge humans like Anna, our CEO, that's like one of the most amazing people I know in the world, and you girls as well. So I'm very grateful for you.
Oh, and we are just thrilled to have you as part of the team. This is so wonderful to have your expertise doing interviews with us.
Thank you so much. So, Sharon, your chapter is about the sacred awakening, and you've been working with self healing for so long. Can you explain to us a little bit about your work, what you've been doing?
Oh my goodness, thank you, Claudia. And I've been a musician all my life. I found a guitar under the Christmas tree when I was 16 years old, and it's been forward since then. And it took me many years, being around music and playing music and teaching music for so many years. It took a while for me to make that shift to sound healing and understand the deeper level of what I was doing and playing as a musician. And that kind of happened in the 1990s. You know, the way the universe drops nuggets into your awareness. I got a few of those nuggets. Some of them were kicks on the head and saying, "This is your path, Sharon. This is your path." And finally, after quite a few years of research from that initial spark of curiosity about sound healing in the 1990s, started formally really studying and training in sound healing in the early 2000s. And I am, oh, Claudia, I am in awe every day. Every time I see how beautifully sound works with others or myself in my own practice with sound, I am always in awe. Oh my goodness. It's just, it is an amazing modality.
I love that. I love that. It's so beautiful. And just make a connection between you and Leah chapters because Leah is talking about the courage to be seen and reclaim your voice. Our voice, I think it's the most important sound we can hear in through our lives, right?
Right, right, absolutely. And that courage to have your voice be out in the world. Sometimes we have a history of being silenced. And that history of being silenced might be about this lifetime, but it also might be something that came from the ancestors. And that's something that I experienced, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that for a very long time. I just had this fear of, like, while I'm kind of extroverted and willing to be out in the world, there is a part of me that is really not willing to be seen and heard because it doesn't feel safe. And so that courage to be seen is doing that excavation of what it is that's in the way. What's in the way of bringing your authentic self out into the world? And and then that power of your voice that Sharon was alluding to is that we can use that, and I'm hoping Sharon will say more about that again, but we can use our voice to heal ourselves along with movement, along with humming, along with holding ourselves and humming. Those are ways that we can heal ourselves. So I wanted to circle around that concept of using our voice to heal. There are lots of different layers about that. That
Yeah, I love that. Just to dive in more in your chapter, Leah, the courage to be seen. Talking about my own experience, I cannot remember how many times I asked to be invisible in my life for protection. And I have a feeling that a lot of women feel the same way. Do you think like for some reason, maybe it's this relates it, but do you think like it's something that our soul claim for that just for protection? And when's the moment that you have like, no, I'm done with that because I'm protected by the creator? How can we make this shift and just
Right.
turn our light on and go for it?
Turn our light on. So many of us listening came from European ancestry where there were hundreds of years, centuries and centuries of women being persecuted, killed for being their authentic selves, for being intuitive, for being leaders in the community, for being healers, that was all uh, doubted as to where that came from, even when it was coming from the source, the creator. It got turned around. And so that was a way that many women were taught to not trust their intuition. And so that's one of the key things is to, okay, that's an old story. We're not participating in that story anymore. Instead, I'm choosing to listen to my intuition, even when it doesn't make sense all the time. It might not make financial sense. It might not make sense to the people around us. But when we are able to feel that calling of our soul and really listen to what feels important, what feels weighty, what feels um, like you have to do it. You just have to do it. You don't know why. It's a knowingness inside. And that is when we learn to trust ourselves. And there's another piece of that, which is our body wisdom.
Mhm.
And that's something that I did not learn body wisdom growing up at all. Instead, I was not an athlete. I didn't learn any of that. And it got me in trouble. When I was 19, there was a time that I was in a couple different scary situations, and my body was telling me, get out, get out, get out, get out. But my mind didn't see what the problem was. So I didn't trust my body that knew what was right. And so luckily nothing happened and I was fine. But it opened that journey of learning to trust my body wisdom, and that's a way that our soul can speak through us, is connecting to that body wisdom of, oh, I know this in my bones, I know this in my blood, I know this in my gut. That level of wisdom is so powerful, and that's what I want women, especially, I want everyone to learn that in school, but that's what I want women especially to embody, that new level of that leadership of, oh, I understand this, I know this in my belly.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, Marisa say, I've made many decisions in my life that made no logical sense, and yet every choice I made by following my inner guidance led me to something better than I could ever imagine.
Yeah, yeah, that inner guidance system has a bigger picture than our little squirrel brains can know. So if we follow our inner guidance system, we will end up in the right place at the right time.
Love it. And Sharon, how can sound can kind of awake or just like give you even more connection for us to listen to this? Like, how can we connect the sound through all of this process, as you're saying in your chapter about the sacred awakening?
This is such a rich conversation. Oh my goodness. Where to start? I agree so much with everything Leah is saying. And I know from my own journey in finding how to not only learn how to listen to my intuition, also to learn how to trust it was a journey. And for me, to get me out of my head and into the body, I found that yoga practice and Tai Chi for a while, Qigong for me was helpful in developing that sense of body wisdom. And all of this was happening at the same time as I was learning to trust my intuition. It would send me in directions towards learning sound. And one of the things that is so powerful that helped me, and as I share with others helps them too, is using sound Oh, there's so many. Mostly, and where the awakening and the focus is in this chapter is in the heart, and finding, because the heart, as it's part of body wisdom, is so wise, and it carries. When I learned to finally land into my heart, then I started getting a lot more confidence in following what my intuition was saying, and finding that, oh well, my gosh, it's actually working out. And then, as long as I kept coming back to my heart, 'cause I do so much brain focused work that is, I have to consciously practice going into my heart to stay there longer, and that's been a journey too. And so that, using sound, then coming back to sound, is that sound goes through you. It moves every atom of your being with every sound that is around you, and especially the sound of your voice, because the sound of your voice is created inside of you. And before you and Leah even hear my voice, I have moved every atom of my being with every sound that I am making. And when I first discovered that, that was an awakening. It was like huge aha, because I asked the question when I knew without a shadow of a doubt, the sound of my voice moves every atom of my being with every sound that I make. That is the science of what sound does. And your voice carries your emotional, your spiritual, your mental, your physical energy. It carries everything. It carries all of that with resonance. So then the question became, how is the sound of my voice moving my atoms? And then I started to notice the sound of my voice and how it was moving my atoms. In other words, how it made me feel. If I was complaining, I got, okay, that's one feeling. Do I like that? Not really. Or if I was doing something I found joyful, like practicing my guitar, I love doing that. And then I could feel that. Or if I was chanting a mantra, I could feel that. And I started making choices about how I use my voice. Another huge awakening. And it all starts in the heart. It all starts in the heart. And that also becoming aware what Leah was saying about that body wisdom, because that was great information too, that helped my heart as it was figuring out what to do.
Yeah. Oh my God. And there is no other way for you to be aware of that except you being in the present, living in the moment, right? You have to be here and now to be aware about everything's going on. Because if you are in the future, as we see a lot of people are now suffering with anxiety, or if you're in the past, you cannot experience that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I just wanted to
yeah.
highlight that what Sharon is talking about is that our body wisdom knows at that such that deep level
Hmm.
that when we're talking to ourselves, sometimes we're talking in our heads, and our thoughts give us that feeling, but then we can add a power to it by using our words, by speaking out loud to ourselves. So what are we saying to ourselves? That we can add that power and resonance. So not only is the maybe chanting moving your atoms, but also your thoughts, if you're giving them some some power of sound, are going to add an extra dimension. I think that's really fascinating. Hadn't really put those connected those dots before.
Yeah.
It gives a whole other layer to affirmations, Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we're speaking that out loud to ourselves. And one of the wellness palooza classes that we took was on the power of writing your your script, and then speaking your script out loud. Like, how do you want that your life to emerge, and then stepping into that so that you are feeling what you're saying. Like, those are a lot of pieces coming through, and when it's really coming from your heart, you've got your soul power moving through too. That's where that is getting that extra momentum. Like, I hadn't really connected those dots before. Like, I get it, but I'm getting it at a deeper level.
Yeah, you're kind of in a state of coherence, right?
Yes.
With your heart and your soul and everything you're doing. Oh, Marisa is asking, great question, Sharon. How is the sound of my voice moving my atoms? I've never asked that before.
I'd be curious to hear how Marisa finds her answers. It's always such a fascinating conversation.
And Jian's saying, thank you so much, Sharon. This is so true. The sound of our voice infused with divine, loving energy heals our body and uplifts the world. Beautiful.
Right.
Okay, right now I want to talk more about the tools you girls are sharing with us. We know we can just like giving a little bit because people will get the book, right? But what the tools you're sharing in the book and how people can apply in their daily basis.
Well, I guess I can
Yeah.
start. There's three tools actually. The first two are preparatory, Claudia. The first one is a series of tuning fork sounds called a nervous system balance that regulates the nervous system because before we can go into the heart, we need to reduce the stress and regulate the nervous system. Going into the heart helps to do that too. So that will be available in my Wellness Universe profile. And then we go into the heart brain coherence because the main tool is to actually go into what is called the higher heart center, which is where you meet and speak with the heart of your higher self. It has a place in your body in the thymus area. And so the chapter is the experience of going in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's something related. Leah was talking about Wellness Palooza. Your lecture in the Wellness Palooza were related to that as well, right? Something that you've been diving in your journey so far.
I want to hop in there because my tool is similar to what Sharon is doing, and that is I use the word toggle.
Yeah.
We toggle from the outer shell of ego inward to the soul. So when there's anxious, fearful thoughts, that's ego. And when we toggle inward, that's the soul. And what I do is to go from head to heart, and then imagine that you can follow a, a light inward. It's from your heart, following that light inward. And that's the light of the soul. And we all have access to that if we give ourselves space and time. And then sometimes we'll hear something, we'll get a message. Sometimes we'll just feel a knowingness like, oh, that, okay. You just, it's a feeling, it's not a thought.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Yeah, and it's available 24/7. It's just a matter for
Right.
us to stop everything you're doing, connect with yourself.
Stop what you're doing and connect with yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. How do we forget to be connected to ourselves? My clients sometimes say that's the most common thing I hear. Oh, I feel more like myself. Like, how did we get disconnected from ourselves?
Yeah. I love that. Every time I had a chance to have a conversation with Sharon, and I was trying to ask her, Sharon, how can I do that? And she was like, always coming, making a way. And she do it just in a way so beautiful, way so kind, Sharon. Like to make me get back to myself, because we have all the answers. You don't need to go outside. It's everything's here.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think, like, I think I'm gonna make like a general question because we know that people that join us all the time, like the new audience that's coming up to the wellness universe right now. Why do you think that it's so hard to people nowadays sometimes go with their heart, with their passion, and not just thinking all the time? Because like all the society is asking us to be rational and to practical, but the answer is here, and people are like, no, I think it's just being too much emotional. Why is that? And how can you make some way to make them think and believe and confirm that the best answer is through their heart and not through their mind?
I think that when people have those opportunities to listen to their heart, that strengthens that knowingness. And so really encouraging people to take that space because we have so much chaos going on right now. Giving yourself 10 minutes a day to feel more aligned with yourself, that gives people that sense of resilience and and strength, and knowing that they can then be that rock, solid rock for other people as well. So you want to be that strong sense of self for your own self, but also for other people. And so we can't, I think if people give themselves that gift of having 10 minutes a day to just be present with themselves, they'll learn to tune inward. They'll learn to find that inner calm and that joyfulness within that is not always available when we're chasing it outside.
Absolutely. What about you, Sharon?
I totally agree with what Leah is saying, and that, and also that we are trained from children to be in our heads. So this is our training, and so it doesn't come. Well, it's natural for us to go into the heart. That's being human. However, it doesn't come naturally because we've been trained and focused to be very left brain in all of our training and school and everything that we grow up with. And it's like you're working with half a brain. You're forgetting about the other half of the brain that has the creative source, that has that connection to the intuition. And when you're working with half a brain, you become disconnected with yourself and with the heart because the brain it is not capable of making big life decisions. We tend to go there when we're trying to figure out, well, should I move? Should I get married? All of these big life decisions we try to figure out pros and cons, and that's fine. However, take the pros and cons to the heart.
Oh,
I lost you, Sharon.
yeah, okay. I was afraid it was me. Your sound is gone, Sharon.
Oh my, is it
Yeah.
There,
back?
now it's back.
Oh, there
Yes.
was something
Yes.
that came in. What I was saying is that the brain can try to make a decision,
Mhm.
but if the brain makes a decision the heart doesn't agree with, the heart's going to create situations in your life to get the original decision made anyway. It just won't be as pleasant. So when we take those pros and cons and say, okay, heart, connect in with the heart. What is the choice here? And that's so important.
I love that. That's so.
Yes. And I noticed that too, that I take that squirrel brain and bring it into my body and I ask my body what feels right,
Mhm.
and sometimes I'll get that a feeling of constriction, like, oh, I know that is not the right choice for me. And then sometimes I'll get that feeling of openness, like, oh, okay, that's the right choice for me, even when it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make logical sense. And yes, we have been trained to not pay attention to that body wisdom over
Hmm.
hundreds of years, even though um, even though our soul knows the way.
Exactly. Yeah, we are doing this pros and cons list and think we're killing it. Oh, I'm doing it right. Like that's the best choice ever, and your heart's begging for you. No, 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 no. That's the other way. Please follow me. Right.
Yeah.
Start with the heart. Jean saying, absolutely. I love it, girls. Thank you so much for your time. I cannot express my gratitude with you all. Like being listening to you, like it's kind of like giving unconditional love to all of myself. And I hope people that are watching us can feel the same energy right now. The new book coming up in July 8th, 25 Tools for Transformation with these beautiful souls. I really appreciate you girls so much. Thank you for your time. And I hope to see you in my future.
Thank you so much. We love being here. It's going to be a
Thank
fabulous
you.
book.
Oh my goodness, I can hardly wait to read
I
these
can hardly
chapters.
wait
It's
to read these chapters.
and Claudia, you do these intervals so beautifully. You have such a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, girls. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.